Hey everyone, so we are going to discuss why you are not getting calls for automation roles, and I'm going to tell you the real truth, which I have also have seen in my career as well. So you have applied to dozens, maybe hundreds of test automation roles. You have updated your resume. You know Selenium, you know API testing, you know frameworks, but the phone isn't ringing. So we are going to discuss why it isn't happening. So around 7 years back, I was in your exact position, despite having over a decade experience now in QA. Was manually testing everything from banking apps to healthcare systems. So I decided to upskill myself into automation. So I started learning from Selenium, then I wrote few test scripts, updated my resume, and started applying on different platforms like LinkedIn and your Indeed, Naukri.com. But at first, I thought it was the market. Then I thought maybe I wasn't good enough. But then I looked at what the companies hiring are really asking for, looking at their JDs, and then I realized I was presenting myself at the wrong position. So I had listed tasks on my resume like automation regression testing using Selenium, wrote test scripts in Java, reported defects in Jira. This is what I was doing before. It was a more of a checklist of duties which I was writing and not a story of impact. And then I had no proof of my skills beyond my job description. So there was no account of GitHub, no personal projects. So I was nothing to show that I understood modern CI and CD framework design. So once I reframed my experience to focus on outcomes, like how my automation cut regression time by 60% in one project, and how I integrated API test cases into Jenkins to speed up my releases. And once I built a small but solid GitHub repo to showcase my work, everything got changed. Within a month, I went from no calls to having multiple interviews, and today I help other QA professionals make the same shifts. So we are going to discuss about few harsh realities here. So if I know automation tool, I will get the interview. This is a myth, I would say. And what exactly is the truth is that companies aren't hiring for tool users. They're not looking for somebody who knows the tool. They're actually hiring problem solvers. So if you can solve their problem, their day-to-day task, issues, challenges, and how they can optimize their work with the help of your previous experiences you can bring up on the table, that all can be considered as the real chance to get that opportunity, while you can showcase the same in the interviews as well. So your resume, which looks like a task list and not a value story, so you have to update the resume. And it should not be like that you know automation, you know Playwright, you know Selenium, you know API. That doesn't feel fits, right? You just have to add some values that this is what I did by doing and implementing an automation project. I bring such kind of changes, like for example, I have written Selenium test cases in Java. This is something you can consider as a task list. Versus if you write like a story, like you have reduced regression time by 40% by building a maintainable hybrid framework. So, do you think this one looks more better as compared to which we were writing before? So, this is something which is not that good. Versus if you see reduced regression time, this statement looks more appealing. So there are more chances your CV will look more ATS friendly and it will go through and surpass things very well. Then the second reason which I feel is your tech stack is outdated or too narrow. So are you only looking for Selenium WebDriver? Let's say you have done a course or somewhere, or even maybe you are working in Selenium WebDriver only, but you really don't know API automation. You have not implemented RestAssured, Postman, Cloud Tools, CI/CD integration, mobile automation, performance scripts. So as of now, in 2025, you don't have to just be relying on this Selenium WebDriver. You cannot take a good opportunity in Selenium WebDriver. So the companies who are actually working in manual testing, maybe they can hire you only based on WebDriver, but I don't think so if you don't know the whole soul things around the automation practices, which includes your API automation as well, and also integrating your project, which you have designed, into your CI/CD pipelines. And then also you should have exposure to mobile automation and performance scripting. So what you have to do is, what all tasks you do on daily basis, you might be doing some manual testing on UI, APIs, and databases. All of those you have to come up with at one place and look for opportunities in that itself. You guys, if you guys are working on manual testing even, you have to come up with the way by which you can automate them by your own, right? There are lots of ways by which you can learn things. Try implementing them and try to implement the same learnings which you are doing on your own project itself. That will bring a good hold on yours. You know what to answer to the interviewer, and that will bring a major change in that. Coming to the five silent rejection factors which I feel are possible, the very first is you don't have a GitHub account, or you actually have to showcase your work which you have not done. Maybe you have not got an opportunity, maybe in performance testing scripting, or maybe in mobile automation scripting, but you have to learn it by yourself. Let's say you have learned it, but how you can showcase that, that you know that? So you can do that same thing which you are learning, that you can push that up in your GitHub account, and then you can just write it on the top of your CV that this is where my work is. So maybe if you have not worked in some of the technology or any of the tool and automation framework, or specifically any programming language, let's say I've been working from very long time in Java and C sharp, then in my later career I just jumped to JavaScript, right? In my 2 3 years last, I've been working in JavaScript. So so I have to make my profile in a way that my profile also contain Playwright and Cypress along with JavaScript and TypeScripts. So that is where I learned that programming languages and that kind of open source repositories as well. So you don't have a visible portfolio or GitHub account. Recruiters and hiring manager wants to see your code structure, framework designs, readme quality. If you don't have one, you are behind those who do it. The second point is the keyword mismatch. as we are as you guys are talking about and listening to ATS friendly filtration, so there is something called as application tracking system, which are kind of automated process which actually make your CV go through a certain scanning, I can say, where if your certain keywords which they are looking for is not matching as per the JD, then there are chances they might skip your CV and reject it without even looking at it, but without even taking the first round of interview. So the ATS filters are real. If your resume doesn't match the language in the job description, anything like Playwright, Cypress, Selenium, which all technologies or specific open source framework approaches they are looking for, you will never get a reach to a human. So that machine itself is going to reject you. Lack of testing fundamentals. Automation is a part of testing, that's true, not the whole. If you cannot discuss test design, boundary values, or maybe bug life cycle, they are going to doubt your judgment as well. So I would say that point number three is not that required from the point of view of giving the interview. People are not asking anything around manual testing I have seen, but still, maybe by chance, the person who is taking your interview is a very old coin and have been working like 20 years into testing, then they can ask those kind of questions, that your fundamentals are clear or not on the testing side as well. The main important thing is the fourth point, where missing CI and CD DevOps exposure. So automation isn't running in the vacuum. If you are actually haven't integrated test into Jenkins or GitLab or Azure DevOps, these are more of your CI CD interaction. You seem isolated from the modern SDLC process. So if your projects are not following any of these approaches, CI, CD, and DevOps, then that is, you guys are too far from reaching up to that position. So you have to cover it by yourself by learning. Then you have poor communication of impact. Even in the interviews, speaking only in the technical term without impact of giving any business as well, that you have saved time, you have caught critical bugs early, you have improved the deployment confidence, make you seem like you are a junior guy, not that well good enough that they can hire you. So you have to explain in that way as well. You don't have to stick to, okay, I know technical stuff, you are keep on telling about the technical stuff. No, you have to also talk about the business as well, that this is the impact when I was there in the team. As a team player as well, you can explain that this is all I was able to bring things early, and we caught bugs early with our set of automation scripts. So how you guys are going to revamp your resume, that we are going to discuss as a part 3 or action plan of ours, and that I feel you are going to get as soon as you put an effort toward in that direction. And obviously it's not like a overnight journey, you have to put something like 30 days or so to reach to that position. The very first point is revamp your resume. So let's start with the very first point, where I'm saying start each bullet with an action verb and include a metric. Okay, this is what I've done the changes, and I was trying to implement something. This is a form of action you are trying to do, and what change it has brought in your project, that you have to tell as well, that I was able to cover up maybe 40% of the regression test cases which I was doing manually before, and now I do it through the automation testing. That kind of metric also you have to provide in numbers. That is something which is very good, which looks better. And again, as we were talking about the ATS friendly resume, that is something which this brings into that picture. Coming to the second point, which is adding your technical skills section. That section you can add up with the column saying what all tools you know, what all languages you know. Languages doesn't mean English, Hindi. We are talking about TypeScript, JavaScript, Java, C Sharp, which all languages you know. Then the DevOps part also is very much required, that you have to say GitHub, GitLab, Jenkins, Azure DevOps, AWS, GCP, all those exposure if you have. So that section will only contains those keywords. And then further, when you are talking about the project in the whole CV, then you can use this keyword that this is what I did. Then the next step is tailoring for each application. This is very much required. So the point is, this is not something which is not necessary always. Like maybe there are 20 companies you are trying to apply. Your CV is not going to be accepted if you try to apply with that same CV in each and every 20 of these requirement from the different companies, because every project in those different companies will be having different requirements. Maybe somebody is asking from Jenkins, someone is asking for AWS, someone is asking for Azure DevOps. Okay, I'm talking about the DevOps side. Coming to the automation UI side, where somebody is asking for Playwright, somebody is asking for and is working in Selenium. Okay, so that is where you have to change your CV as well. You don't have to stick to the same CV and pushing it everywhere and thinking why I'm not getting the responses. Then the second piece, which is also very good, coming up with a GitHub project. You can create very small project in your GitHub. And GitHub project creation is very much simple. It's just like the way you create an account in Facebook. So it's simple, like you just have to put your credentials and you're ready to use that GitHub account. So you guys have to just create certain small learnings which you have already done. For those you are not working on, let's say you guys are working on Selenium, but you are also learning Playwright. So what you can do, you can create a well structured automation framework which is related to your Playwright, that will include your web and API. And also you have to include a readme is something which will bring certain steps, ki why I have created this particular project and how to run it. All those steps in a clear perfect structure, if you provide it, that will bring a very much good picture of yours, ki, okay, this guy is putting so much effort in explaining things to the person who is trying to use it. One way is just, you have a project, you just push it directly on GitHub, but the person who is a user of that project will be struggling to use it, and there are chances they might not use it. Okay, so all those folder structures should be perfect, sample test cases should be perfect, you have added the CI pipeline script as well, irrespective it is running locally as well. Okay, that is also fine. Or you might also be running it on the GitHub actions. So all of these GitHub action and everything are something which is a part of learning. If you have not heard about it and are not exposed to it, then you can learn those as well. Then we have reporting, like how we generate reports. If let's say I have 20 test cases which I have run and I want to showcase the results of them, so that is where you can showcase, okay, this is how my report looks like and how you have designed it, which report you are using. Maybe are you using LO report, are you using extend report. As soon as your GitHub project is ready, you just have to pick that link on and keep it on your resume on the very top, where you're writing your name and phone number and everyone. That is where you can put your LinkedIn link as well, and your GitHub link as well. So if you have something less to write in your CV, this GitHub project is going to bring up a very good impact to the person who is looking at your CV. Or maybe if that person opens your GitHub account, then things will be completely different, irrespective even you guys are freshers. This GitHub project is going to bring a lot of change in the impression which is going to be come up to that person who is looking at your CV or the profile. How you guys are going to upskill, and that too strategically. So you have to learn one new tool, whichever is gaining the market share more. So there was a time when I talk about, let's say, 2010 or 2015, there was a time of UFT going on, and slowly and gradually that has taken up by Selenium more. And now these days, as Playwright is being backed up by Microsoft a lot, and they are pushing it in with a very good features as well. So you can grab these kind of things, like go with Playwright and Cypress learning. So that is where you will be going in that direction to understand things. And only by learning this will not be your end-to-end solution to grabbing the opportunities. You have to understand Docker like stuff as well, which will help you to execute things on not on your system and on their Linux based containers. So you have to practice integrating test with a CI tool. So there are so many free tiers available, which you can grab it in AWS as well. So there you can grab it for free and you don't have to give any charge. So small pieces, just try your hand and you will be good enough to explore and get the job as well. Then the last point which I feel is also good, where you can leverage your LinkedIn and networking as well. So you have to follow certain automation leads in a way where you are getting certain information around automation testing. You can also share certain posts on daily basis that you exist, your profile is good, and if somebody is looking for someone in their team, then there are chances they might also reach out to you. Not even the HR, I would say, but there are chances. Let's say I, being the QA lead or manager, looking for someone in my project, right? So I can have those kind of good interaction with the company that I can also refer. So if I feel that person is very much thoughtful and giving good comments on the post everywhere around automation, so there are chances he or she knows about it. So that is how you can generate your networks and things will be different. Then you can start messaging the recruiters with a short pitch and resume and GitHub links. What you can do is you can take help from ChatGPT to create a short pitch and resume. We are already discussing that this is how the resume looks like, and also attach your GitHub account as well. That this is all my effort being from very long time, and this is what I'm learning as well beside the projects I am doing. So maybe I'm doing a project in Selenium, but I have also good knowledge around Playwright and Cypress as well. So that is what bring the change. Maybe they are looking for Playwright, and now you have got a chance, you know Playwright, and by sharing that project of yours via GitHub. The fourth part, which is important, is the mindset and the long term growth. Automation field is evolving. Be a continuous learner. You don't have to stop anywhere, right? Even you don't have to think of that AI will take something. AI is something which is going to help you doing things quickly, which I have also been experiencing. Like I was doing some or other task in 3 days. I'm now able to do the same thing in, let's say, 3 hours. So that is a major change which AI has brought into the picture. So automation field is evolving, so just have to keep on learning new things. So you don't have to stop yourself at, maybe, let's say I know Selenium in a very good ways, so I will only look for jobs in Selenium. You don't have to do that. Something which is in the market and is in demand, you can go in that direction as well. And I have told you how to do that. If, let's say, you have not got any kind of opportunity in that direction, but this is something which can bring the change. So if you share the GitHub projects of yours, like this is what I've learned and this all things I've implemented in maybe any public website, that will bring a major change in your profile showcasing. Then we have focusing on the automating to solve business problem, not just writing scripts. So while you will be getting certain test cases from your team from manual testing, so what you have to do, you don't have to actually think from the direction of "Ki, okay, I know these are the steps which manual tester has told me to automate. So I will put my thought ki how it is going to help the business or the team and what all challenges they are facing, wherein automation can bring up the changes. So that thing we have to bring up with that mindset. If you do that, then things will be different. Otherwise, just by converting your manual test steps into an automation script is not something which they are looking for. So for example, you got an opportunity, but you are just writing the scripts and you know how probation things works. So there are chances, if you are not doing something which they are expecting, you're not understanding the business problems and you are just writing what they are giving you. So there are chances they might get you into that discussion why you are not doing this, or coming up with some new effort which you have learned before. So that business problem is the major stuff which every business will look for. So any of the business which is facing any kind of challenges, I won't say challenges in terms of monetary, it can be day to day challenges or just to improve the product. So what change you are going to bring that in their normal regular process. So that is what they're looking for. Even that you can tell on verbally as well if they come up from as a question from their side. So we will be considering roles like SDET quality engineers, and there are lots of broader opportunities as well. So we can think about that too. So let me just reframe it, what all we have discussed. So we talked about creating a portfolio with the help of GitHub. We talked about resume, keywords, which all things we can write. Then we talked about the CI/CD part, which we don't have to skip at all. We should know it, otherwise there are chances there will be certain good set of questions from CI/CD and you will not be able to answer. So in that section, maybe you will be missing out. So we have to think of from the end-to-end learning. Not only we have a certain set of knowledge, okay, I can change and update the script and that is done. No. Then the business impact. So business impact, as I said, there are certain things which is already running in a team. There is certain steps, and you came up from some other company and there was something which was good in that previous company, so that you can suggest, okay, this thing I will bring up in your team and this can change certain things which you guys are facing on daily basis. Okay, that kind of impact you can bring to your leadership. Okay, this is what I feel can be done in your normal regular process, and what will be the impact as well, that also you have to justify. You have the skills, let's say you know UI testing, you know API testing, you know database testing, you know certain automation libraries like Playwright, Cypress, Selenium. So you just have to package them right. And as I said, that depending on the JD of a particular project or the company, you might be having multiple CVs as well. I have something for you, like you can download my free resume checklist for automation engineers, and that link is going to be found in the description. You can also book a free career consultation call with me as well, and that too I'm going to share in the link. So if you have reached to this level of the video, then kindly subscribe my channel